Nope.
Feels right. All right. Then let's kick this bitch off.
It's a real exciting episode today. From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. 2020 has come to an end, and we look back at the highlights. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on Pod Therapy. That guy's Jim Jobin. I'm Nick Tangeman. Let's get started.
Oh, Happy New Year!
In fact, it's just lights. Let's look at the lights.
The lights, yeah. Let's look at the lights.
Not highs or lows.
So I actually was, in preparing for the show, looking at some stuff online. I wanted to get some ideas for, the trivia questions.
Yes.
So I was looking at literally the highlights of 2020 or events of 2020.
Oh, okay.
And I found some, I think the Washington Post did an article about, here are some of the great things that happened in 2020.
Oh, wow. They found some.
Yeah, I thought. But they were all here's a way to completely twist how, COVID has benefited us.
Oh, yeah. We figured out how to do vaccines faster. That's a positive. Right. Yeah, we figured out how to create hospitals and parking garages. That's pretty cool.
Here.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. This shit year is coming to an end, friends. It is officially the last episode of 2020. And as you know, if you've been a listener for a while, we do Pod Therapy in seasons because our show was launched January 2018.
Because that's how we started it, and it's too late to change.
That's how we started it. We're not changing it now.
That's how we have our intro music.
This is our Season 3 finale. Woo!
Yay.
3 seasons of Pod Therapy in the books.
It feels like so many more.
It does. It does. Once a week for 3 years.
Jacob has aged.
Yeah.
It's this is presidential.
Scott has really changed.
Scott.
Oh, man. But we are so happy to be with you as we bring 2020 to a conclusion, and we are excited to stroll down memory lane. We've got some cool things to do today. We're going to talk about the highlights of Season 3 to recap some of everybody's favorite memories. We went out on Twitter and into our Patreon and asked people to give us some ideas and did some skimming of our own to recall some of the interesting events that the three of us have done this year in the show. And we've also got a cool therapeutic activity that we're going to showcase to you that will also be available to you at patreon.com/therapy. If you want to come down there and subscribe to the show, you can see it attached to this episode in the show, episode 156, I believe. And you can do a little an end-of-the-year activity for yourself and maybe share that with somebody you love. And it could be a way to sort of think about the year in review and think about next year. And hopefully 2021 will be a better year for the whole planet since we will probably not be, in the grips of a never-ending plague.
Do you remember
breaking away from it?
Do you remember last New Year's Eve hearing a lot of people saying, thank God we put 2019 behind us.
Yes, yeah. It's now it's just foreboding at this point.
Yeah. I did see something.
2021 is warming up on the sidelines.
I think I saw I can't remember where I saw it. If I saw it on Twitter or someplace where they said, what if the Mayans were just dyslexic?
They just got it wrong. It's 2021 instead of 2012.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yep.
Comforting thought. Oh, man. But we wanted to start the show by reflecting. So this season, we've had a lot of cool episodes, a lot of cool special memories, and we asked folks to kind of chime in and give us some of theirs. So we thought we'd take a little stroll.
Where was I for those shows?
You've tuned out most of them, man.
Filing for unemployment, I think.
You Men in Black yourself at the end of every show. You stare into that red light and just smash that button.
Just hit myself in the head with a frying pan.
Yeah, that's where all those dents came from, man. Oh, man. But some really cool episodes this year, as well as some pretty cool events that have happened and some pretty memorable things. One thing that people wanted to point out, Piff the Magic Dragon. That was a cool episode. We had Piff. That was a really cool episode.
Yeah. It's always fun when the highlights are things that are not about us.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, the best parts of your show.
The best parts when
I think everybody
somebody else
universally
on
agrees.
that wasn't-
Yeah, no, everybody universally
Yeah.
agrees. But we had some great guests
we
this
did.
year.
We had some really great
That
guests.
was really cool. Just reaching out to Piff and having him say, yeah, man, I'm happy to support mental health. Like, let me tell my story. And just be vulnerable and honest. You
Yeah.
know? World-class entertainer, telling his truth.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
We had RJ.
RJ, yeah, that was a great episode.
We
And he
had-
fed us. He gave us, like, that really
The
delicious
bread pudding.
bread pudding. Yeah, God, that was so good.
That was
RJ's
amazing.
a great guy. That was a huge fan favorite. He talked about dropping acid.
Yeah.
And, gave us his sort of defense of it and how it's worked out for him and the value of that. Also
Was
a huge
Yakov
mental health
Smirnoff
supporter.
this year?
That's a good
think
question.
no,
I think it was last year.
I think it was this year.
No, that would have had to happen in January or February. I don't think Yakov was this year. There's no way. I think it was
It's been a
last
long year, Jim.
year. It has
I
been.
think it was this
If
year.
you collapse them all together, maybe. You can look it up on our feed.
Yeah.
We had Piff. We definitely had RJ. We did a crossover with In Situ Science with Dr.
Yeah.
James O'Hanlon. That was a lot of fun. And so we jumped onto his show, which was super cool. And we pointed everybody to that. That was a lot of good time. We recently had Dr. Victoria Hartman, the first ever return guest. And that was pretty cool. So we've definitely had some good talent on the show this year to join us and unpack some things.
Yeah, that was that's one of the more memorable things I think for me this year doing the podcast is when we have some guests on.
Yeah. And another big thing that people were pointing out that I think is a huge milestone in the show, when COVID hit, obviously, our therapy show started becoming much more interactive. Instead of just being this interesting show, well, maybe interesting is a generous word, but instead of being the show where, a couple of therapists, take some questions and rattle off some answers, we actually engaged our community on patreon.com/therapy. All the supporters of the show started joining us in share groups. And so we actually tried to step into the problem, bringing, what we have to offer from our expertise and our professional experience. And we actually led the first ever in our show's history Zoom support groups. And we did that multiple times throughout COVID, especially in the early days when everything was very scary and the lockdowns were happening. And a lot of folks told us, that was huge. Like, it made a difference for them. This show stopped being just a podcast to them and started becoming a true community. And that was huge for me. Spending that time with folks meant everything.
Helped also a little bit in identifying ways that we could grow the show in the future and other things that we could add. We've talked about possibly being able to implement something like that on a more regular basis. Scheduling obviously is going to be complicated, but I mean, that was a good test for us to see what technologically what we're able to handle.
Yep.
Turns out Zoom is pretty much our limit.
Yeah. So that was the upper side of the continuum of what we're able to do.
Yeah.
But that was huge,
Yeah,
and being able to meet the community.
Oh, and interact
were
with
at.
people who we've read their name multiple times
Right.
and never actually had the chance to interact with. That was really
that
cool.
was huge. That was such a cool experience, and it really opened up the door to this community supporting each other, getting us through this incredible, scary time. What a hard year, and to just, I think for you and I both, I think for us it was an eye-opening thing, because it stopped being, this fun hobby where we, record stuff and talk about our profession, and it started being, no, we're like forever attached to these people. Like, we've all been through something incredible together and shared our experience in a very real way. So that was profound. On the lighter side, this was also the year where the Laura is a Nazi bit was born.
Oh,
Just this year?
That was this year. Yeah.
thank God for that, right?
Yeah, and there's probably a lot of people who are curious as to how the hell that even happened.
I am,
Joined us
remember?
later in the year.
It was before you got here.
Yeah.
She was cleaning in the house,
Yeah.
and I was talking to her on the phone. She called and asked a question.
Oh, that's right.
And she's like, "Hey, I'm cleaning. Do you think it's okay to mix what was it? Bleach and
Vinegar.
Ammonia.
vinegar
Or ammonia.
Vinegar,
something
yeah.
like that.
It was ammonia, I think.
as a chemical to help clean better."
Yeah, she was trying to
And-
disinfect the
Yeah,
floors or something like
and
that.
I was like, "Yeah, sounds fine." And Jacob's like, No, I don't think that's okay.
You just
Pretty sure.
described chlorine gas.
Pretty sure it was mustard gas.
Oh, mustard gas. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was mustard. I think bleach and ammonia is mustard gas.
Yeah, that was it. And it was like,
Or
hey,
produces mustard gas.
that was it. And that was the bit, because then we were like, well, that's strange.
She's making chemical weapons.
She's making
Okay.
chemical weapons.
Yeah.
How long has she been a Nazi?
Right.
And that bit has endured. That has stood
The
the test
ironic
of time.
thing is that she was burning books long before that.
Yeah, in non-Nazi ways.
Right.
Sometimes you just got to burn a book, you know?
Right.
What are you going to do? But yeah, this was the year of the Laura's a Nazi bit, which she's taken like a champ. I think that she's done very well with that.
I mean, in fairness, she's usually not here
Yes.
to defend herself.
That's true. But when she's
yes.
come, she plays along. You know, she clicks her
goose
little
steps around.
boots. Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
She draws on a little
Yeah,
mustache.
that's right. She carries that Luger.
She parts her hair in a very distinct way.
Almost like she's proud of it.
Yeah, I was very proud. Very, very proud. Almost nationalism. Also, this was the year, another thing that people wrote in and said was their favorite moment, multiple votes for Life Coach jingle. This was the year
yeah,
of the Life
yeah.
Coach jingle, which has only become more powerful as the
true.
year has gone on. All the way to now including strobe lights.
It's true.
Very impressive.
It's fine.
Yeah! The lights! Yes!
Just been life coach.
Oh, 2020 had some highlights.
Glorious.
That was glorious. Special thanks to Froyo, Justin, who is our great composer, and he's the one who brought on the jingle, man. So this is the year that Jacob officially had his Life Coach jingle.
Yeah. Check out his band, Plague Physicians.
Oh, yes, Plague
Spotify.
Physicians. Yeah, you can find him on Spotify. Great band. Justin is a singular talent. And just a generous dude. Dude to create that for us. God, I remember that was baking in the oven for a while. And we were like, dude, can we get this thing? And he was like, you cannot rush this. It's going to be worth it. And it was. Oh, that stood up. So lots of votes for the Life Coach jingle. Bumper sticker madness made it into the mentions.
Which one?
Yeah. So the original bumper sticker madness of
Because
March.
you were dumb enough to do it.
Yes.
Still just amazing.
I know, and gets away with it both times.
Oh, just jumping through the fire hoop, man. Made it again.
Jesus.
But that's crazy. You think back to March Madness, that was going to be the bet. And I immediately regretted that as Jacob discovered the pantheon of the worst part of the internet. And that
If you think that is the worst part of the internet,
you have not.
you
been
were
to
just
the
an
dark
innocent little baby.
web. You know nothing.
You're
of
like
the
a
things
happy rabbit jumping through a
the
field.
things I've seen. But yeah,
Not
and
even
then
the worst part of this show.
NCAA canceled March Madness, and then I got out of it. That was the only way I was going to dodge this thing.
Wait a minute. I believe the bet was if Jim didn't win March Madness.
No,
Yes.
it was my bracket. You had to beat
Yes.
my bracket. It wasn't that
No,
my
no, no,
bracket
no,
had
no,
to
no.
win. That's
No, no,
insane.
No.
I believe it was your
was.
bracket
No, it
had to beat
wasn't.
our
100%.
bracket.
I'm going to have to call our attorney.
100%.
I think the bet was your bracket had to beat other
but
brackets.
if March Madness didn't happen,
Not
Your
even,
bracket didn't beat it.
if you
Yes.
bet on the Bulls and the game is canceled, you don't lose your bet. You get refunded your bet.
That's because they know how to phrase a bet.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's a solid point.
Yeah, because it wasn't even just like, I'll do better than you, Nick, or I'll do better than you,
It
Jacob.
was, I'm gonna win.
My bracket will beat everybody's, and I'm
Yeah.
willing to bet a bumper sticker
If
on my
one
car.
human anywhere
Yes.
beat mine, I was going to put a
No,
bumper
no,
sticker
no,
on.
no. Just within our group, but
Yeah.
not just the three of us. It was any of our listeners
I think
who
it
were
was
going to
going
play
to
along.
create the thing.
I don't remember who it was against, but my memory is you saying that your bracket was going to beat other brackets.
I think it was winner gets to put the bumper sticker on my car, and then Jacob was trying
same
to tell
thing.
everybody to give him the choice. That if
Yes.
whoever won it needed
No, I
to
think
give
that was
Jacob
the second
call.
round.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
I think that was the second round. I
Listen.
think that was the fantasy football round.
I'm glad the world
Or not
ended.
fantasy football round. The
Best of
Vote
Las
Jim.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, that one got mentioned as a favorite. That was back in March. Overwhelmingly, the thing voted for Polly Mustang. Was overwhelmingly the favorite. God, that memory haunts me.
That was
and
the
then
highlight
Smitty
of my
Scoop
2020.
named his fantasy team that
Yes.
just to piss me off.
Polly Mustang was good.
That was the day the light left the world for me.
Yeah.
That was the day I realized
That was the day?
I haven't trusted anything you guys have said ever since. Everything you guys ever say, I question.
You
Like,
believed in the
most
last
straightforward.
episode that I knew exactly what the name of the dreidel
Yeah,
table
but I
was.
bailed on that quicker than Nick did. I bailed on it
Fine.
minutes quicker than
I
him.
still think he knows.
I mean, he's holding back. He's being humble about it. But his logic was extremely sound, you know? Like, he's like, table, I made it out of clay. Like, that's buyable. Like, yeah, no. Like, I'm not going to question it. He's probably right. Same way that he sold the Polly Mustang thing. God, that thing was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sign the engine block. Like, it just... It moved so quickly, you know?
I mean, it was a great day for us because we learned a lot about you.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Jim
And
knows zero
the doors
things.
that opened. Like, it just... Jeez. Oh.
Yeah, Polly Mustang. I have no idea what episode that was, but it's back there. It's back there this year. So, yep, that was an overwhelming favorite. Of course, other very memorable episodes discussing the presidential election, obviously, in more recent history. That was a big one. The Reddit AMA.
Oh,
That
yeah.
got mentioned quite a bit. Yeah, lots of people said the Reddit AMA was very memorable. We got on the front page of Reddit. To this day, it has 3,100 upvotes. It's still pretty good for a weekend showing on an AMA thread. And yeah,
Should
that was
probably
awesome.
do that again.
Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll make it an annual thing. We'll probably do it during Mental Health Awareness Month, I think.
Yeah.
That'd be a good time to roll that back out. But yeah, that was huge, and that actually brought us a lot of new listeners this year. A lot of letters referenced that and said, I discovered you guys on Reddit, and, you know, or somebody, you know, discovered you on Reddit and told me about it, and now I know about you. And that brought us a lot of new friends. And so the Reddit AMA was huge. It's the biggest growth of our show since we made Friends with Ice Cream Social.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And before that, the biggest growth was when we told our
A goiter.
co-workers in an office about it. We made our parents listen to it, I think was our other big surge.
My parents still don't know about this.
That's right. Also, something that happened this year that was very memorable, the Pod Therapy logo was selected. That happened in March. Yep.
God, that does seem like a long
I
time
know.
ago.
Doesn't that feel like years ago? Oh my God, it's so
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, we put it to a vote. We had all those different designs. Everybody chipped in and figured out which one they wanted to do. And now the logo that you see in your podcast app became the official logo of Pod Therapy. And now Nick is working it into all sorts of fun merch that allegedly is going to appear somewhere
I sure am.
one day.
It's going to be amazing.
He's got a lot of ideas.
Hopefully by the time this episode airs,
Whoa, calm down there, Tiger.
Well,
you think so?
December
31st?
that's my goal.
Your
I want to have
goal.
the store up and running
Okay.
by Christmas.
So if people want to see the merch store,
by the way,
go to podtherapy.net.
now would be a good time to say this too. If you're a patron of the show, you'll have a discount code.
Oh,
Not
there you
sure
go.
how we're going to get that to you, but
We don't know how to do any of
no.
this.
Well, I should say
I would suggest via email.
Ah.
I was thinking pigeon.
Okay.
Okay. Teach
Yeah.
his own.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Carrier pigeon is...
I'm not married to it.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I can be talked down from the pigeon.
Well, I'm
But-
not going to do it. you had me. This email shit's overrated.
We don't know yet what those discount levels will be, if it will be all levels or if it's just going to be the theropods and above. I don't know yet. We'll
figure that out. But if you are supporting the show, we'll make sure that we support you as you attempt to find merch. So go to podtherapy.net, and according to Nick, when you're hearing this episode, if you go to podtherapy.net, there will be a link somewhere in there to find our merch store.
I read this book.
I'll
and-
believe it when
and
I see it.
It said that if you put it out into the universe.
Yeah, you got to manifest
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
So I don't think I have to do any work. I think it's
you
done
just
now.
think about it. Yeah, squint really
Right.
hard and just believe.
Yes.
With all of your heart. Click your heels together.
Yeah.
There's no place like a merch store. So the logo was a big part of season 3 that existed. Also, people noted Jim recording from home. That was fun. Whenever I did that. You guys remember that?
No?
When I spent like a month not seeing you guys? That happened.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, I was there. So
Nope.
I'll have to tell you all about it. Jim running for Best of Las Vegas happened this year, and Jim losing Best of Las Vegas happened this year. But coming in a gentleman's second.
181st the best therapist in Vegas.
Best therapist. Yeah, I wish I was the 181st best podcast. That would be damn good. Top 200? No. 181st in a city of 300. Not bad. Not bad. But Jim running for best Las Vegas was a big one. Helping Jim build the book was something people mentioned. Voting on my cover for my book was something we included all the Patreon community in, and lots of people participated in helping me design the book. And then the book officially launched, but that was my New Year's goal. And we're going to have one next week for you guys when you listen to the next episode after this one. We always start our season with goal setting and talking about SMART goals. We're going to do that again. But that was my goal, and I broke it down into pieces and got that book published. You can read it. Go to dadvicebook.com, and you can read the book that took me this whole year to create.
So we're doing the year goals again?
Yes. That's what we do.
I still haven't checked to see
what
my
your last year goal was.
I'm pretty sure it was to learn Spanish. And I can say,
yeah,
no hablo español.
Yeah, that
So,
counts.
yes.
I don't know what it means, but
It means I didn't meet my goal.
it means I failed.
That's what that means.
That's fine. Yeah. All right. And then the last big memory, well, there's a couple more. I buried my grandfather this year and got to speak to that on the show, which was profound, doing a eulogy, for my grandfather on here. In the Patreon section of the show, early February, I also kind of recorded an episode of Jim's Journal, which is a periodic thing I'll do on Patreon, and recorded the loss of a patient. I had a patient who completed suicide, and that was very memorable too. A big part of this, podcast and the community that surrounds it. The support of us as just humans who do our jobs and try to do what we can, and tremendously grateful for the outpouring of support that I've received this year, not just for the book and for Best of Las Vegas, but so many folks messaging me and, just telling me their thoughts are with me as, dealing with the challenges of losing a patient and, of course, losing my family. Very meaningful. And one of the most memorable things that happened this year, Battlefield Earth. Battlefield Earth. Maybe the greatest film ever made. Also an underrated Christmas film. Doesn't get enough attention for Christmas, but it really is a holiday treat.
Doesn't really get any attention for Christmas.
Or Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. It's mostly just ignored.
Doesn't really get any attention at all.
It's a big deal in Scientology circles. You just got to know the right people, and then, it gets its time. It's its airtime.
Yeah.
Lots of memories this year.
I got another t-shirt idea.
Yeah. Oh, that needs to be a t-shirt. That absolutely needs to be a t-shirt.
I'm sure if I just made a Battlefield Earth t-shirt.
Nobody's going to sue you. That's all it is. Just find that. That's all you got to do. Oh, man. We had a good year with you guys. So season 3 of Pod Therapy has been filled with a lot of laughs, a lot of sincerity, a lot of big memories. It is when our show mobilized and, joined the fight to get through the mental anguishes of the COVID year. And more letters, than ever came in that really spoke to a lot of people's stuff and what they were working through. And our community that surrounds this podcast and supports this podcast and fuels this podcast made everything possible. And so we are so grateful to our Patreons, all the folks that support us financially, all the folks that just support us with goodwill, all the folks who write into the show and give us questions to chew on and to answer for folks, all the many people have supported our projects, my creative projects, all the things that we try to do, and all the people who have sent us letters this year. And Nick, I know this is one of the most profound things for both of us. We get so many letters that we don't read on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many letters that we do not read onto the microphones because they're not meant for that. They're just meant for us. And I got to tell you guys, all of you who have sent us letters this year that have just told us what we're doing and why it means something to you. God, I got to tell you, that is the fuel in the tank, that just makes it worth doing. This is a nonprofit show. It's just it's a project that we put together 3 years ago because we believed that it would serve a purpose and that we could do it in a special way that would be authentic and meaningful to us. Those letters that have told us why this show is important to people and why it matters, nothing compares to that. Mm-hmm. So important to us. And for the many people this year who got into therapy for the first time and told us it's because I listened to your show and I realized I want to do that.
Yeah, which is awesome. We've had a lot of those. Just a few episodes ago, somebody started off their email saying that, oh, yeah, we did. Can't
Yeah,
remember.
we get them all the
But
time.
yeah, but I mean, like that's to me, that's huge because that's kind of the whole purpose behind why we started this in the beginning, anyway.
Yes.
Destigmatize it and kind of allow people the opportunity to meet a couple therapists, realize that these are normal people,
It's an approachable thing.
and
It's an approachable thing.
easy to talk about.
This community, I think, has fueled us. It has supported us. It has helped each other. There's been so much goodwill. And we cannot do it without you guys. So here's to year 3 coming to an end as we wrap up our memory lane. And, excited for season 4 and excited for the things we're going to announce in January. And hopefully our best days are ahead of us as a community. But we were put to the test this year, friends. We were put to the test. All of us were. Even the team that puts on Pod Therapy, and of course, special thanks to Jacob, who put up with us yet another year. The man really deserves a prize.
Hey, Jacob, we're talking about you.
What's up? What?
We love you, you salty son of a bitch.
It's just weird.
No, it's not. Looking you in the eyes when I say it. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about a therapeutic year in review activity. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
This week's trivia question, or our producers, I should say, are.
Want me to stall
I
for
gotta
time?
fix this so I don't have to scroll every time. Big
Big
thanks to our producers Robert Brownie, Junior Mint, Kayla Lansbury, Crazy Manana Scoop, Malaya, and Dan Martin. Thank you very much for supporting the show. And our trivia question in honor of you. Our theme is 2020. On January 8th, these 2 high-ranking Europeans quit their jobs. Who are they?
What?
If you'd like to join the producers and make the show possible, you can go to patreon.com/therapy and sign up. Again, that's patreon.com/therapy.
I have so many questions about your question.
Oh.
How do you rank highly in
I know.
He
Europe?
knows.
How do you be a high-ranking European? I don't think
I
they have an
can't
archi-
give you any more information,
Yeah.
otherwise it's too easy.
As soon as you hear the answer, you're going to go, oh, that's how.
Too
Yes.
high ranking. Is the Pope? Did the Pope resign again? Is that
No.
Is it
Yeah.
Benedict?
The Pope and his wife.
The Pope and Mrs. Pope.
Senor and Senorita Pope.
Senorita Pope.
Why isn't there a
Senorita
Mrs. Pope?
Pope. Why isn't there Mrs. Pope? All
The
right.
Pope and the First Lady Pope.
High-ranking Europeans who you said they resigned.
They quit their jobs.
They quit their jobs. You could be a
They're
job as a
high-ranking
European.
jobs, and they quit.
Dude, I don't know. Who's a high ranking? There's no rank in Europe. What are you talking about?
Oh, there's rank.
Was it like the EU? Was it?
No.
Was it the leader of the EU?
I'm
That is
saying
obscure.
Europe as a continent,
Yes, I'm aware
so as
it's a
to
continent.
avoid saying the country,
Well,
because the country would be very easy.
oh, is it the? Wait a minute. Is it the princess and the prince? Was it the royalty people from England?
Jacob, help him out.
Was that it?
Yeah,
Yes.
That's the right answer, right?
the Prince of something or another.
It's a Harry.
Not the correct.
The
Yeah,
Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
that's it.
yeah, Harry
Yeah,
and
abdicated their HRH status.
whatever.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Meghan Merkel. Yeah, that one.
Jesus,
Did I get it?
you got it wrong even after I said it. But
I feel
yeah,
like I got
fine.
it. In my
Okay.
heart, I got
fine,
it right.
you got it.
I love it.
It's more impressive that way.
Those
Yeah.
are pretty high-ranking Europeans. Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good one. Good,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
job. Didn't they move to Canada?
I don't know.
Sure,
Yeah, whatever. We're wishing you the best, Prince and Princess.
we know you're listening.
Yeah, they're longtime listeners, supporters of the show. So one of the things that I like to do at the end of the year in my practice is I like to send, not every patient, but a lot of folks, I like to give them this packet. And so if you'd like to participate, this packet is this year in review packet. I didn't create it. It's a thing I go find annually from the group that makes it. It's like a nonprofit group that creates it. But we've got it up on our website. You can go down to patreon.com/therapy. You can grab a copy of it inside the posting of this episode. That's just where we can host files. Otherwise, we'd post it on our regular website. But go on down to patreon.com/therapy, and you'll be able to find this thing. It'll be attached to this episode. It's a really interesting packet. It asks some reflection questions about the year behind you, and it asks some forecasting questions about the year ahead. And the goal, I think, at the end of a year and doing an activity like this is just to orient yourself. It's to orient yourself to what you've been through, what you've learned, what you've grown in, and to imagine the
Do you
future.
normally mail this packet to your patients, or do you
email
just
it.
hand it to them?
Give it to them, or I email it. I usually just
Oh,
email
it's a
them
digital
copy.
packet.
It's a
Yeah.
digital. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a PDF.
It's an editable PDF.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Also
yeah.
edible. You can eat it.
You can also eat it.
I was just
Yes.
thinking how weirded out I would be if a package just showed up at my house one day from my therapist. Like, what the fuck is this?
With a few Polaroids.
This is my blackmail. These
would
are my
just
list
be-
of demands.
I'd be very confused.
I should start doing that. I should just send people something really random, like a phone book.
I mean, I get why he created the packet, but why did he have to cut all the letters out of magazines?
Happy holidays from Jim. So if you'd like to play with this, it is available up on our website at patreon.com/therapy. But Nick and I decided to jot some things down just to kind of role model reflection.
Well, what I was going to actually ask you, I'm glad you answered it, is kind of like the purpose behind this. And as far as self-reflection,
Yes.
so it's meant for you to kind of learn a few things about yourself. Right?
Yes.
Okay. I did not have a great experience doing this.
Oh, really? What was it like for you?
Well, for me, it's really hard to identify things. I go through this every year in our annual review for work,
Okay.
where I actually have to take notes during the year
Oh, so
of
that you have
stuff that
something to talk about?
stuff that I accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it gets to the end, I can't think of anything. And I know I've accomplished stuff, but I just, for whatever reason, I just cannot remember things that I've done.
Sure.
It just doesn't. For me, my memory it happens. It's done, and I just move on. And
Uh-huh.
I don't log it. I don't file it away in my brain anywhere.
Yeah. So it's actually hard for you to go back. Because, the very first question on the thing actually encourages you, go look at a calendar. And, or if you
I
have a
also
personal
don't
calendar.
write stuff down.
Man, you are just, you don't exist. I think you might be a hologram.
I am a free spirit. I don't.
I could do that through my phone or through my Apple calendar.
That's how I did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went through my calendar. So the packet starts off looking backward, and it starts off with the past year, and it's a really nice packet. It has some guidance about how to prepare yourself emotionally to go through it. And so the first challenge is to go through your calendar week by week and identify important events that you were part of, family gatherings, friendly get-togethers, significant projects, just stuff that showed up in your calendar. So I logged a few. I went back in February in the before times.
I know on January 9th I had a dentist appointment.
There you go, Nick. The meaningful stuff. This is what's in your calendar.
It is. That's...
In my calendar, I knew that I was taking off in February, and I went to Great Wolf Lodge, which is this indoor water park, which is hilarious because I could not in any universe imagine doing this in COVID times, being, packed in with hundreds and hundreds of people in a water park that's indoors. It was so humid. And we also went whale watching off the shores of California and got to see some gray whales, which is pretty cool. Another thing I noted that happened this year in June, I got to go to Penguich Lake, Utah. First time I've ever gone to Utah to explore. I went to Penguich Lake.
Oh, I did a gig with John Bon Jovi on January 17th.
Did you really? Yeah.
John
Jeez.
Bon Jovi?
Did you have John Bon Jovi on yours?
I do not.
I didn't.
I'm going to be honest. I went to a water park. That's memorable.
I didn't even have Paul Bon Jovi on mine.
Yes. Nice.
I had no Bon Jovi.
You don't have any memory of interesting things that you did this year.
I know I had a reservation at the Residence Inn by Marriott
such an
in
idiot.
Reno on
Do you
January
remember when
17th.
you went on your golf trip where you did 4 courses in
yes.
back to back?
Yes, that was
that would be
it was
something you'd put on there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that takes.
That's one thing.
So that's the
on
last
February
month of
2nd,
last year.
I celebrated Groundhog Day.
There's that. Flag Day.
How did you celebrate
Arbor
Groundhog
Day.
I don't recall.
I remember both of your life events. I remember Jacob went to Great Basin, and he went camping out there, which was pretty cool.
That was just a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so far both your
Yeah,
examples.
that's how a calendar
have been
works, you
within the last
dumbasses.
30
That was pretty recent.
Whatever. I did an RV trip. That was pretty cool. Rented an RV. Had a good time with that. Went to Duck Creek, saw Bryce Canyon. Those were some of my calendar events.
Dentist appointment on February
Oh,
12th.
Jesus.
That's the same thing I've got.
Was it on the 12th?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Nick and I were at the dentist.
Yeah, we were at
Dentist
the
buddies.
What time was your appointment? Mine was at 2 p.m.
4 p.m. We just missed each other.
Like ships in the night. Ships in the night with surprisingly clean teeth.
All right. The next activity says, this is what my last year was about. And it's got different boxes of different parts of your life, personal life and family, work, studies, and profession, different boxes. We'll see how Nick did on this one.
Health and fitness, I wrote in not a damn thing.
I don't think you needed to.
That was
man.
a sore subject for me.
Yeah.
In 2020.
To think about like health and fitness stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was a hard year,
I've
man.
done nothing.
Well,
I haven't been to the gym since February. It was the last time I went to
I'm
the gym.
grateful that you didn't, because I don't know that we could do this podcast if you were going to the gym every day. And I wouldn't feel safe in your presence.
No, I would just come in here and I'd just be like, I got to do some curls. Give me something I can bench.
That's what you could have done. Yeah, just rip phone books in half. That's one way to work out. So personal life and family, I noted that I spent so much time with my family this year. I really connected with my kids. Usually I'm in a clinic, seeing patients all day, and I was working from home, so really bonded with my kids this year.
I did have one actual sincere thing that I accomplished this year that I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
Which is I'm out of debt.
Oh, congratulations!
With the exception of student loans. I've still got those.
Those don't count.
Okay.
We need Biden to wrap that up for us. Yeah. Come on, Joey. Get us out of this.
Yeah, I'm going to be chipping away on those for a while.
Yeah.
But this is the first time in my life since I've had debt.
Wow.
Where I've been completely debt-free.
That is a huge accomplishment.
Yes, everything's paid off. I own my car.
That's awesome.
All that. No credit card debt, nothing. So,
wow.
That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool.
And the fact that it happened during COVID.
Yes. That
was
is
amazing.
significant.
Because
that is significant.
Yeah, I felt a lot safer.
Yeah, and work life, you did some cool stuff. I mean, you did some traveling and went up to Reno several times. You taught my workshop. That was something I put in my work.
I've actually, I think in the past year I've developed 2 trainings.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was in one of them, right?
I didn't develop that one.
Okay, you taught it.
Yeah, I taught it.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of modified it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like from scratch, I created 2 new workshops essentially.
Yeah.
So
there's one. On March 13th, I dropped off a rental car.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, that's important. That goes
or at least
into
I
the
was
calendar.
supposed to.
Yeah. Well,
Let me check March 13th and see
Jesus.
if I also had
picked up a rental car. Wait a minute.
It was very dirty.
You guys are just this whole time. In the box of work, studies, and profession, I did some things. I rebuilt my website. That was pretty cool. I got my supervisor credential. Thank you, Nick, for passing me.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. And went complete telehealth. That was pretty meaningful. Adjustment, anyway. So, yeah, that was in there. Did you have anything for changes in hobbies or creativity?
Just recently?
No.
No changes in
Over
the
the year. You're terrible at this.
No, I'm saying like I just got into that Adobe Illustrator.
That's true.
Like that has literally been the last 20 hours
of your
of
life.
my life. But no, I mean I played a lot more golf this year than I have in the past.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for the previous 2 years, I wasn't golfing as often. So now I've been out a lot.
Oh, so
Shaved a few strokes off my handicap, so I'm pretty good with it.
You
Pretty
should
happy.
keep that to yourself, buddy.
Yes.
I don't think that's public information.
If I can get you to play
very
golf later in the day, maybe I'll go out and play golf with you a few times this year.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want to go early morning though.
Okay.
Fuck that.
No.
cold.
Well, we have to.
Yeah,
I mean,
nobody wants to
now
do
you
that.
can go. You can get started as late as noon. If you're not out by noon, you don't finish.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to start
Oh yeah.
like in the morning. I'm happy to start in the AM.
Okay.
But you start at like 6 or 7, right?
In the summertime.
Yeah.
To beat the heat. But
Yeah,
now,
see, I don't even mind the heat.
Oh, yeah. I usually don't
I mean,
either.
in like August, forget it.
Yes.
When it's 120,
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Nobody's trying
Yeah.
to get out there
Yeah.
then.
No, we've been playing like tea times like 11:30.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, I'll next time we need somebody, I'll let you know.
I mean, no. Don't do that. Because I'm terrible.
Okay, all right, just you and me.
No, we can go out with a group, but don't be like, oh, here's a group of people who know what they're doing, and we need a fourth.
Oh, no. We don't know what we're doing.
Fine.
Yeah, it's usually lettuce, cigar smoking.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
stuff
all
like
for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, my golf is mostly drink cart and cigar smoking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you'll fit right in.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Every now and then I skip a hole because my back hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
like
totally.
I've got a crappy back. And so
Totally.
every now and then I'm
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
what's this, the 14th hole?
Don't
yeah,
care.
put me down for a 7.
Yeah.
Feels right.
Yeah.
What's this, a par 5? Yeah, I'd hit about 7 on this.
Yeah. Gentleman 7.
Yeah.
As long as you can keep up with the cigar smoking, you'd be fine.
Oh, that's easy.
Vital to the success of
is.
the game.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you expanded on your hobbies. So that page, everybody, is a bunch of different boxes, different areas of your life. Did friends and community change? Did you do anything intellectually this year? What's going on with
No.
finances? Did you do anything on your bucket list? Did you have any emotional or spiritual development, health and fitness, relaxation, hobbies, and creativity? So all those little boxes have room to be filled in with some of your memories. And the next page is where you finish sentences. Hopefully this one goes pretty well. What was the wisest decision you made this year, Nick?
Again, I think that has to go back to getting started with paying off debt.
Okay, making that a priority.
Yeah,
That's pretty solid.
that was by far probably the biggest impacting thing of my life, and it was just making the sacrifice, just committing to it,
Yeah.
and like, all right, this is what we're doing, and sticking to it.
Jacob, the wisest decision you made, was it not buying season tickets to the Raiders?
Oh, that may very well be it. That may very well be
It's
it.
got to be in the top 3.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. I saved that, what was it, like $18,000 in seat licensing, not even counting the tickets.
No. Oh, yeah. Dodged a bullet.
One of my good buddies, he still has those season tickets. He just had to roll them over to next season because the Raiders did. I think we talked about that. The
Yeah.
Raiders did really good by their season ticket holders.
Yeah.
But he's still out $40,000 for the 2 seat licenses for his seats,
Oh my god!
and he
Oh
thought
my
he was
gosh.
going to be recouping that money by selling off some of the tickets this season.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Yikes.
tough.
That is
Yeah.
That is emotional. That is a really hard. So yeah, I'd say it's a pretty damn wise one.
Yeah.
Mine, of course, was converting my entire practice to telehealth. I did it instantly as soon as the news was out that it was happening, and didn't hesitate. And that was a wise decision. I was able to continue my practice. I was scared I would lose it, but it didn't. So yep, that went into the wise category. What was the biggest lesson that you learned this year, Nick?
You know what? I didn't actually fill that one in.
Feels right. Thanks for coming.
I don't. I really can't think of
It's fine.
what did I learn. I don't learn.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I
Okay.
know what. You know what? I learned a lot.
Yes.
I learned that we can say almost anything on this show, and you're going to go along with it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a big lesson.
I learned a lot about Polly Mustang.
What was the biggest risk you took this year?
Me?
Yes.
I'm not much of a risk taker. I really didn't have an answer for that one either.
Yeah,
This
going
is
to
one where
Walmart.
I would actually I would actually need to think about that a lot more.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be anything that I think was like I didn't buy a house. There was no big financial
Right.
purchases that were
Right.
big risks.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just managed risk this year.
Yeah.
The biggest surprise of the year, I wrote COVID. I feel like that was
I wrote nothing. 2020 went exactly as planned.
this is exactly as we discussed.
Checks out.
As I forecasted.
Jacob, any big risks?
I mean, there are things that I did that turned out more risky than I expected them to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things like spending a whole lot of money on replacing all the windows in my house and then
Right.
losing
Right.
all of my household income.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'll do it. Yep. Risks
Yeah,
you did
didn't
not
seem like a
anticipate.
risk
Didn't
at the
seem
time.
like it was risky.
At the
Yeah.
time, yeah. And COVID,
Yep.
I think, still wins the surprise category.
Yeah.
The most important thing I did for others this year, I think for me, it was the share groups. I thought that was a really cool.
Oh, I thought for sure you were going to say you wrote a book.
Oh, that was a gift to humanity. Yeah,
That's what I mean.
That's what that was for. Yeah,
that's what-
yeah. But I felt good about doing the podcast this year. You know, the podcast has always been a rewarding experience. This year, incomparably compared to the other years. You know, this year I really felt like, you know, we were getting people through it, you know, and being a part of that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Big part of it. The biggest thing I completed this year, that'd be my book, Nick. I wrote a book.
What book? I haven't
Dad
heard
Advice
anything
book.
about
Go
this.
to dadadvicebook.com.
What is it, like fatheradvice.org?
Fatherlyadvice.org?
Fatherly
No,
advice.
that we don't talk about that bastard. Looking at you, Bob. 6 questions about the past year. What are you most proud of? Sounds like Nick. Wait, did I just do this one?
It feels very repetitive. This
Very
page and
similar.
the last page. I think
Yeah,
these
you
are...
said paying off debt. I'd say, you know, the book
Yeah,
is probably
yeah.
up there. Who are 3 people that influenced you the most? Nick, you ended up on my list.
Oh, really?
You ended up on my list. I said Nick taught me about supervision, clinical supervision. I feel like I learned a lot. And
I hope so.
You know what I wrote? Here's what I actually wrote. The question is, who are the 3 people that influenced you the most? And I wrote, Nick, taught supervision class, co-host, friend, question mark? Yeah, so that's how I classified that one.
You know what? I'm not even going to answer that. I'm
That's
just going to
fine.
let you go.
Just
and
let it be.
We just figure it out.
Yeah, just
let you.
we'll see.
I'm
Remains
genuinely a
easy.
little surprised that Nick and I both didn't end up on Jim's list. Just because 2012, you don't see as many people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys are
yeah.
100% of the people I socialized
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
That's
The
fine.
pool was
It
just
is.
smaller.
It was. Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, Jacob, you got beat out by my family and my gramps.
Well, that's
Those
bullshit.
were very influential moments.
I call
Bullshit.
bullshit. I call bullshit on the family.
Unless you
Yeah.
personally buried your grandpa, I don't want to hear it.
That's true. That's true. I spent a lot more time with Jacob. Jesus. Oh my gosh. All right. Another question that was on here. What were you not able to accomplish? What was something that was on your list and didn't get to accomplish this year?
I was actually, I had it mapped out. I was actually planning on being debt free this year.
Oh, were you?
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a tough year to
Damn.
set sights on that one.
Yep.
Yep. That's a rough one. What about for you, Nick? What was something that you didn't accomplish? Probably fitness goals.
Oh yeah.
That's a
Well,
big
but
one.
I didn't really set a whole lot of goals. See, that's the thing. Like I don't. But yes, I mean, I feel like that is definitely one area where I didn't think I would be where I'm at right now. I thought I'd be a lot further along.
Yeah.
But cookie dough will do that to you.
Cookie dough. Yeah, you were eating straight cookie
I was
dough.
cookie dough 3 meals a day for a while in March.
Rock bottom.
Yeah, that was definitely rock bottom. I remember prior to a training that I was doing, we usually get on, myself and the facilitators on the Zoom.
Yeah.
We usually log in about 15 minutes before we let anybody else in.
Yeah.
And they were giving me shit because I was literally just sitting there eating cookie dough. Just raw cookie dough right before the training, and they're like, "Have you had anything to eat
Are
today?"
you? Do you need somewhere to go?
I was like,
Are you okay?
Yeah, just cookie dough. I'm good.
Checks out.
I'm good.
Just a cry for help.
Yeah.
I tried to expand my practice in January and February. It actually happened in February. I had hired my first associate therapist and had gone through this process, had gotten down to like 3 candidates. I picked my favorite. I was ready to go. I had put her into the system. She took her very first client under me. And that same week is whenever the COVID burst through. We were announcing lockdowns, and I had to let her go that same week and tell her, hey, we can't, this isn't going to work. Like, there's no way. I'm not even sure my practice will survive this year. And
Wow,
that
I
was
didn't
the
know
end of that. Yep. That this whole like Jim Jobin and Associates name, that was
There really was
there
an
really
associate?
was an associate. Yeah,
I thought it
that's
was
right.
just pretentious.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's that too.
It wasn't not
was that the
pretentious.
rest of it? Like the rest of the year, it's just I fell back on pretension. That's the only thing I had going for me, man. Also, when in doubt, you are my associate. If anybody asks, they're like, Jim, who's with you? Oh, I got friends. Like Nick and I do things.
Yeah.
We do creative projects.
I've got a recommendation letter right here.
I mean, he wrote me this. Yes.
It just says, I am totally an associate.
That would
Signed,
definitely
Nick
be
Tangerman.
one. Yep.
Yeah.
So the next page is a good one. This one was interesting. It kind of invites you to draw if you want to draw or write, whatever. But it basically just says, describe the greatest and most memorable moments of the year. And it asks like visceral questions. How did you feel? Where were you in this? What were you doing in the scene? What are the smells and sounds? It really invites you to like think back. For me, I didn't draw anything because I can't draw jack. I imagined floating in my little above-ground pool that I put up over the summer for my kids since they were stuck at home with that little shade tent over it. And I was floating in a pink donut floaty with a Corona with lime in it, listening to oldies summer hits that like Sounds of Summer station on Amazon. That was like my happy place moment for the year. It's like, oh, that was nice. Like just doing that. What about for you?
My happy place moment of the year?
Like a good best moment. Like to imagine a scene that you experienced this year that was a nice thing.
Actually that golf trip was fun.
Yeah.
Actually playing some of those courses that I've only seen in pictures and actually being able to see that and play that, I think that was...
Yeah, that's a
That was
best of
definitely
moment.
a highlight moment.
What about for you, Jacob?
I don't know.
Camping in Great
This
Basin?
podcast.
Yeah, being here.
Yeah, I still don't know.
What else you got? What other options?
That's fair. All right. The next page says biggest accomplishments of the year, and it has kind of a breakdown
It
of.
seems awful repetitive. from
Yeah,
the
it's
way
really
it
focused. It's focused on the year. It talks about. So this page, I won't go through it, but this page says, what are your 3 biggest accomplishments of the year? What did you do to accomplish those? Who helped you to achieve those? I think that's pretty cool. It also says, what were your 3 biggest challenges? How did you overcome those challenges? And what have you learned about yourself while overcoming those challenges? I think that's pretty meaningful to reflect on. Next page talks about forgiveness. And it says, are there people in life that you found yourself angry with? People that perhaps need your forgiveness, even if you're not prepared to forgive them, reflect upon who might be in that category. I wrote down some things. I felt angry this year with the anti-masker folks, people that didn't believe in this, that feel like I need to forgive them. Folks that didn't follow the guidelines and who actually ended up spreading the virus. I think that's pretty big. And also the structure. I feel like I kind of have some resentment to a society that wasn't prepared to like deal with this, and that was pretty disappointing too. Richest nation on earth, and we're still losing people to this terrible disease. Feels pretty disappointing. So definitely some anger. Do you have anybody you're angry at? You need to forgive? And look at you, Buddha, just doing what you got to do over there.
No, I got people I need to forgive.
Not people I'm gonna forgive.
Don't have a desire to.
This ain't the year for that.
Oh my gosh!
I feel fine about my anger.
I've accepted it. I'm in a healthy place. Next page talks about letting go. It asks, is there anything else that you need to say? Or there are things that you need to let go of before you step into the next year?
I actually have determined that I need to let go of any plans I had in 2020.
Oh, interesting.
Which I didn't really have a whole lot. But you kind of have to say, like, all right, well, it's 2020, COVID,
You had stuff on the list.
It didn't work out.
Yeah.
So you got to let that go. You can't be upset about that anymore. It's just you go into survival mode instead of self-improvement mode.
Which is also something I think as you go through this packet, for those of you who end up participating in this, I think it's important because sometimes we say, oh, I didn't achieve anything, right? I just survived this year. I see that as an achievement. Yeah, and it's something that we fail to appreciate because we think an achievement is a material gain or like, you've reached a new level or something stupid like that. I don't think that's true. I think in a world in which 300,000 plus of your own countrymen have lost their lives and countless millions across the globe have been destroyed, to have gotten through a crisis with your health and any kind of relative stability in your world is an accomplishment. It speaks to all the things you did before that year that allowed you to get through it. It speaks to the way you carried yourself, the resources and networks, and your adaptability in the moment. That is something worth celebrating. And I certainly wrote that down for myself. Like, my great achievement was getting through this year.
Learning that you can survive more than you thought you could is an achievement.
It is. Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of good questions in here that speak to that. Like ask you, what'd you learn about yourself? Like adaptability and resiliency are things you can learn about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your ability to meet the moment and let go of pride and get through what you got to get through, that is a profound thing to learn about yourself. So I thought that was pretty good. Next page talks about letting go. It asks, what do you need to let go of as you prepare? I said I need to let go of my fear, and that for me is like fear of a sudden health disaster, sudden social collapse, governmental chaos. I need to let go of that, because I'm constantly like head on a swivel, like here it comes, apocalypse is going to happen now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Can't live like that. Because it only can happen once in your lifetime, right?
I agree that you need to let go.
Yeah. That'll probably serve me pretty good. All right, the past year in 3 words. Did you do this part?
Nope. I'm done at this point. That's all the further I got.
Excellent job.
Sorry.
Yep, so 3 words to define your year. Those are interesting. I put anxious, isolated, and freedom. Those were interesting words. The questions that I'll just kind of run through. This part asks, what was the book title of your last year? If you had to kind of title what this year was like.
Fatherly advice.
Fatherly advice. Who did you say farewell to? Situations and people that you did say farewell to. Then the next half of the packet talks about the year ahead. And you didn't do any of that, did you?
No.
Okay, fantastic.
I said I had to rush to get the stuff done that I did, but
well, that's fine. So the other half of the packet, I'll just run through a little bit of it again. You can go to patreon.com/therapy and you can find it, and I encourage you to do that to reflect on not only the year behind, but what your aspirations are. It talks about dreaming big and identifying some of the things that you're imagining for the next year. It runs through similar activities that you did in the reflection that say, what are the things that you want your next year to be full of when it comes to your family life, your possessions, your work life, how you relax and do self-care, your goals for your community, things like that. It also asks you to do, I thought this is interesting, it has a sentence area where you talk about things that you love about yourself in the next year, you're going to love about yourself, things that you're ready to let go of as you step into the next year, things that you want to achieve in the next year, 3 people that will be important for you to rely on, and 3 things that you dare to discover in the next year, and 3 things that you're going to have the power to say no to in the next year. I think those are really profound. And also things that you're going to change in your life. What are you going to change in your home to feel more cozy and feel more at peace? What are things that you're going to try to do for yourself every day? How are you going to practice self-care in the next year? What places do you want to go to in this next year? What are some places you want to visit? Who are people that you want to connect with in this next year and continue relationship with? And what ways are you going to reward your effort this next year and practice success? What are areas you're not going to procrastinate on? What are you going to draw energy from? When are you going to practice bravery? What are you going to say yes to? What are you going to advise yourself to do in this next year? And what is going to be special for you about the next year? So really interesting activity. It ends with kind of a secret wish for your life and picking a word that you hope symbolizes what the next year is going to be for you. A good end-of-the-year activity to reflect on a very difficult year for everybody in our society, how you've gotten through it, giving yourself credit for being resilient and adaptable, and surviving in many cases. Even if it wasn't a year for thriving, it's still extremely meaningful. And then preparing your heart and your mind for the year ahead, to believe again that something good's going to happen in your world, and to begin to organize your thought toward that goal. So, good stuff to get to the end of the year. But we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss friend zoning. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
That wouldn't work. Go with it.
Wrong thing.
This week's Therapy Producer sponsors are Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, Kayla Lansbury, Crazy Manana Scoop, Malaya, and Dan Martin. Thank you very much for supporting the show. And our second trivia question of the night. On April 15th, 2020, it was rumored that this individual had died, only to reemerge 20 days later in some photos of a ribbon-cutting ceremony.
What?
Who is that?
In 2020?
April 15th. If you'd like to join Pod Therapy and become a therapy producer, go to patreon.com/therapy and sign up. Again, that's patreon.com/therapy.
Is it the Queen?
Oh, I got it.
Somebody was rumored to have died.
Yep.
And then it turned out they didn't die.
We thought he had died. There was rumors. He reemerged 20 days later in a photo.
In a ribbon cutting ceremony?
Yeah, the ribbon cutting ceremony is not relevant. It's
Okay.
a red herring.
It's just where they next saw
Yeah.
the person.
All right, who is it, Jacob?
Kim Jong-un.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's right. He got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought he had
North
died.
Korea president, king, leader guy. Whatever he
dear
is.
leader. Dear leader, I believe.
No, I think that's Kim Jong-il.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't,
Son
I don't
of
know if
dear
each
leader.
of them are Kim Jong. Or I don't know if each of them are dear leader or not.
Yeah.
I think dear
Yeah, I
leader
think
was
you're right.
just
Dearest
or not
leader.
Kim Jong Il. No, wait. I think it is Kim Jong Il
It is.
was dear leader. Kim Jong Un's dad.
This feels right. So we've
That's
got a
probably wrong, though.
question
I don't
here
know.
at the end of the show. This
Do we
one
have
is
time for
about. Oh wait, I don't think we do. Yeah, I don't think we're out of time. So we'll bump this one and we'll carry it into the next one. But as we come to the end of a episode that's based on memory and Thanksgiving and reflection,
We forgot to do this.
we hope
topic.
Yeah, we forgot in a time of memory to do this.
Yeah,
one.
didn't really manage the time very well.
Yeah, whatever.
Sorry about that.
It's been a year, guys. It's been a long
What
year.
a fitting end
What a fitting
to 2020.
end to the end of the show for the end of the year. But
Just
we are
another
so
thing
grateful.
punted to 2021.
Just
Yeah.
got these vaccines. We got to rebuild society, and we got to answer a question about friend zoning, all in 2021. But
We also have another question in the queue that we got to get to, but we're pulling in a specialist or attempting
that's
to.
true. We're
So
working on it.
if that's yours, we have it.
Yes.
Also, we're kind of at the end of our queue, so if you've been thinking about questions and want to write in,
Yep.
go ahead and do that. Otherwise, it's just going to be more of Jim sharing worksheets.
You don't want that. PodTherapy.net.
I don't
You
even
can
know who he was
submit-
just talking to when he said you don't want that, but I know that I was included.
PodTherapy.net. Go down to PodTherapy.net. You can submit your questions to the show anonymously, or you can always just email us, PodTherapyGuys@gmail.com. But as we get to the end of our show and the end of our year and the end of our season, we want to thank all the folks who support us at patreon.com/therapy. We always thank all of our theropods, therodactyls, and theraproducers at the first week of every month. And we thank our theraproducers every single episode. And so we definitely want to thank the Syrupy 17, because
16.
there's 17 of them,
Yes,
Nick.
16.
You can't say 16.
Just like the Big Ten.
Yep.
The mysterious and shrouded... Are there more than 10 in the Big Ten?
12.
Yes,
That's stupid. Then why do they call it the Big Ten?
because it started out with 10.
That's dumb. You obviously changed that to 12.
Everyone agrees that it's stupid. It's still called that.
The mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club, the Theraproducers. Thank you, Smitty Scoop, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr. Mint, Kayla Lansbury, Ellie O'Dare, Judy Schneider, Nathan's Hot Dog Scoop, Dr. Ben Dawn, Crazy Banana Scoop, Mason Miller, Scott Jameson, Carolyn Albert, Leon Kassab, Dan Martin, Reverend Scoop Kevin, Malaya, and Scott Brady.
If you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy, and thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time that we've got for this week's session. It's the end of the year. Woo! We want to thank our landlords, the Ice Cream Social Podcast. Thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, pod therapy isn't something you should keep all to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs it by opening the episode subscription in your podcast app and copy and paste the link provided into your social media. Don't forget, you can find us at facebook.com/podtherapy, on Twitter at PodTherapyGuys, and at, patreon.com/therapy.
Do you want to submit a question to the show? Ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Father Time.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week.
That was just weird.
Happy New Year!
Now's a great time to use my kazoo that I just got. Kazoo!
It's weird how
Why'd you
big
do
it
it into
is.
the wrong end of the kazoo?
Yeah. You don't know that that's how it works? There
Holy
you go. You dummy. You thought you were supposed to do the other side. It's not a weed pipe.